naturally, being defensive, we have to have that good understanding of the playbook that the attackers are going to bring out in this space. And what I see in this space from an AI perspective is that there's two buckets it falls into. It's first change that it helps is that as an adversary or as an attacker is speeding up the efficiency and the effectiveness of which I can conduct my actions. And that's typically the types of attacks that we've seen over the last 10, 15 years of like general simplistic type attacking. Or bucket number two is enabling the development of new attack methods and methodologies in that space. So we've all talked about for some time, that advancement of like the deep fake or the projection of someone that said something that they didn't out into the information space. Well, that's now becoming a lot more mainstream based on the levels of fidelity at which the AI can produce those pieces of information in order to trace out there for maybe a phishing campaign, maybe a social engineering campaign in that space. But then if we look at it from the second lens on that is then sort of how the attacker in that space will then operate once they gain access onto that system. And again, I go back into that simple and complex types of attacks that you may see. Again, the simple one, brute force into it's relatively straightforward. If you've got your patch systems and your vulnerability management processes in place already, that's fine. You can mitigate them in that space. But to be able to do those complex attacks that don't use those CVEs that have already got patches out for them, then that takes a level of understanding from the attacker of like what it actually means and what you need to do in order to traverse a network, gain access, elevate your root privilege, etc. And that's something that I think at the moment AI can help do, but the core concept of that operation in itself still roots in experience from the attacker to have in the first instance. And so there'll be cases of like complex, multi-dimensional attacks that take weeks or months in the development, but are for those sort of high payoff targets that we see. Overall, though, like this isn't going to go away. It's a change in adoption of technology, which is just going to get more and more prevalent as we go on. And so it then falls back onto us as that defender to prevent all of those instances coming. And again, not to re-emphasize that, it's that how do you mitigate your network? How do you provide the risks or manage the risks that exist on your network and inform that way upwards that enables you to have the resources available to do the prevention activity in this space? And that comes down to a conversation between you as the defender and your board in order to shape and influence how they prioritize their resource. The problem's not going away, so it's about how you then take that one forward.